sweat lodges.
You can do that.
It's so dumb. We're live.
We can talk.
What's up?
We can talk about crummy clothes if you want.
Well, yeah, we could talk about all kinds of ridiculousness.
But first, we'll be right back. I don't know. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and berries, here we are. It's me, Bradley G, and Casey P.
What's up?
At the World Nerve Center headquarters of your authentic reflection studio in New Hope, Minnesota. And
Yup.
today we're going to talk about the different cities around the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. And for those that, how long have you lived here?
Man, I've lived here since 2002. 2002.
Okay, so you know most of the cities and all that kind of stuff.
Kind of. Like I know the generality of where everything is and kind of like that kind of stuff. But there's still, it's funny when you don't grow up somewhere, you're missing all the tiny little nuances that a lot of other people pick up.
You mean you're actually living in the city, you miss the nuances?
Well, obviously in Crystal, I'm not missing the nuances, but like because that's where I live is in Crystal, but like in the areas around it and stuff, I don't necessarily know all the little nuances of like all these little hidden gems that are around. Some of them I know, but.
Well, those are hard to find sometimes, but I mean, generally speaking, like Crystal, and then there's New Hope, and there's
Robbinsdale,
Plymouth. Plymouth is kind of getting north more.
Well, it is, but it's fairly adjacent.
Yeah.
I don't have to go far. I go down Winnetka to the other side of Crystal,
but there's lots of things that happen. Like you talk about those little spaces, little nooks and crannies that some people don't know about.
Yeah.
There's a coffee shop in where I live in Fridley. You've been there. It's called the Clapping Monkey.
That place is awesome.
And I never knew it was there.
Right.
Because it's not out in the open. It's in a sort of a warehouse district kind of area because it's a vintage store, and then they got a little coffee shop in there too.
It was pretty new when he found it, though, wasn't it? Like, 'cause I know the first time I went there, they weren't even fully all set up yet. They were still kind of figuring it out.
No, that was probably because they had a flood.
Oh.
And they were resetting some stuff.
Oh, got it. How long they been there for?
I don't know. A few years.
Okay.
But they had a flood there that a main broke at like 2 a.m, and there was like a foot or so of water.
Oh.
So everything it was nasty.
Yuck.
I helped them clean that thing up. That was nasty.
Yeah.
But I want to just talk about like the whole area coming from like say Stillwater, because that's within driving distance.
Stillwater's awesome. I love Stillwater.
I know. So it's Stillwater Lumberjack Days, and on the river, St. Croix.
Yep.
And it's quaint. There's a lot of little museums. You do the little walking tour stuff. And if you wanted to even call Hudson a place to go to, you could go to Wisconsin. But Hudson's kind of a neat place to go.
I've gone to go hang out in Hudson once in the 20 some odd years I've lived here.
Okay, well, I'll tell you one place that's really cool. It's in Hudson, and we're talking about stuff over there. Is this place called the Real Magic House?
Oh,
you'd dig it because it's this couple bought it and turned it into sort of like a event center, retreat center, house concert space. And it's an old Victorian house, multiple levels. And it's just got cool stuff in it. Like they got this really neat table that has got a glass and there's sand in it. And there's a little ball bearing that rolls around. And you can program it to do someone's logo in the sand.
Yeah.
And it just creeps around. You sit there and watch the little ball roll around in the sand.
Oh, that's cool.
Stuff like that. It's got all these neat architecture and stuff in there. It's called
the
Real Magic House.
That's cool. I'll have to check that out sometime. Yeah. Have you heard of what's it called? The Mad Hatters?
That's in Ninoka.
Yeah.
I have not been to it, but I have heard of it, and I should go there.
I went there once.
It's a tea house.
I was wearing a big old top hat too. It was fun. Big white top hat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because it was fun.
Oh, just
my brother, I like hats. And my brother bought me a big white top hat. And he laughed and he said, I know there's not going to be very many opportunities to wear it, but you like hats. And I thought this was a really cool hat. So he got me a big white top hat. It was a little oversized for me, but that's okay. I put some edging in it to make it grip a little bit better and everything else. And then I wore it to go to the Mad Hatter. And we went there and we had a coffee date with my mom, and we went and we sat. And
that's in Anoka, Minnesota.
Yeah, that's a great place to go have tea. Like it's like actual high tea.
And Anoka, Minnesota is the Halloween capital of the world.
That's what they say. I don't know if I believe it, but that's what they say.
Well, that's what they say. Then it is. At least to their world. Yeah, I used to work for the county park, so I did a lot of time up in Anoka.
Yeah.
But I don't get up there much because it's up there a ways. So that's probably the extent of my northern. I'll go to Elk River, maybe. What else? So let's go back over east again. Then we got, there's White Bear Lake. You ever do that area? That's a big lake.
Yeah, I do. They're my favorite kind of brewery type places there. It's called White Bear Meadery, and they make mead, MEAD, mead. They don't brew anything else. They brew mead, and they have the best mead I would say in the Midwest.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Casey says the best mead in the Midwest is in White Bear Lake, Minnesota.
Yep, I would say yes. Like, because I've gone to the Ren Fair and I've tried their mead there, and they have a couple of companies that end up being represented there, and I've drank a lot of different meads from there, and I've tried different meads from all over the place, and really most of the mead is ho hum whenever you try it, and then you get these like basically these microbreweries that are popping up, and some of them end up doing mead, and they do meaderies, and these meaderies are starting to bring back these often overlooked flavors of mead. I mean, everything started just becoming this normal metheglin mead that they started making all the time, and it's got what we have come to understand as mead. Comes from that normal metheglin mead. But at this place, they have a whole bunch of different types of mead. They have everything from the metheglin mead all the way to, like, they have this one mead that tastes like it should go with a steak. I'm not even kidding you. It has I think it's jalapenos in it, or habanero. That's what it is. It's got like it's called Dragon's Fire. And it is garlic, spicy, like it is a savory mead. It is not what you would expect. It is not a sweet mead. It is not fruity. It literally tastes like a sauce topping or something like that. It's good, but it has to be your style. And honestly, I like the first batch he did of it the best. He kind of toned it down because there was a lot of people who were like, oh, like this, it's got too much spice in it. But honestly, I liked it whenever it had the super high kick. And then on top of that, the garlic content was much higher. So that, yeah, I liked it.
So how do they do that?
Do
they basically boil all those ingredients into it and then strain it out and then make the mead?
That's a really good question, because there's a couple of really interesting methods. So one of the things that they do is whenever they're brewing it all, they brew it with the ingredients in it, right? So you can use it in the original process of it, where you're putting everything in there, and then you just pour all the hot water. You don't really boil it with the honey in it and everything else. Usually you boil the water and then you pour it over your ingredients.
Okay.
So that's one way of making mead. But there's also, at the end of the initial fermentation process, they do back sweetening, and sometimes they add more flavors in at that time. So I don't know. I don't think it was back sweetened, but he could have added some of those flavors later. So I can honestly tell you I don't know if it was added later or just
Well, that's informative. I had no idea how the hell this stuff was made.
Yeah. It's fun. I like making mead. It is basically you need you need, if you're going to make 5 gallons of mead, I think it's like 5 pounds of honey is what you need.
Ouch.
So that's like 5 little containers, but then you have 5 gallons of mead.
So how does it work if it's not fermented? Does that work?
No, because then you're just drinking honey.
Oh, darn it.
Yeah, you ferment.
I don't drink.
You don't drink?
I don't drink alcohol.
Well, they have non-alcoholic stuff there too.
I'll drink honey.
They have non-alcoholic stuff there too.
Non-alcoholic mead?
I mean, there's kombucha. That's a fermented thing that doesn't have alcohol.
That's got alcohol.
If they brew it right, it doesn't. That's the reason why they can sell it to kids.
Well, I've had some at Creative Mornings, and there's a little bit in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, they do.
On...
They have some mead. Not mead. They have some kombucha that does have alcohol in there, but it all depends on what they ferment it with. If they're fermenting it with like a lactic acid, it doesn't. It
well,
doesn't
there's even alcohol in tomatoes. I understand.
If you let them ferment it all.
Yeah. So careful. So let's jump down now. Like one of the wealthier eastern communities is Woodbury.
Yep.
That's a nice area and big. It's a big area.
What's your favorite thing to do there?
I don't get there much, so I don't really have anything.
I don't get there much either.
We were looking at doing
the Woodbury Mall School,
a home improvement expo there a long time ago, but Woodbury Chamber of Commerce did one, so they didn't really want us to be there.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So we never did a Woodbury show. So let's go further down then. Inver Grove Heights. You ever get down there? Inver Grove?
A few times here and there. I mean, I don't really go there to go hang out or anything.
No. It's like South St. Paul, Inver Grove, Mendota Heights. That's kind of far.
It's a little far for me.
Yeah. Even farther, you ever gone to Lake Pepin?
Nope. I don't even know where that is.
That's south like that, like Red Wing kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
But Lake Pepin is a long, big lake, and I guess it's. I wanted to go down there and see the leaves.
Oh yeah,
it's real nice down there with all the trees and
cool
lake and stuff. So one of these days,
I'm assuming all the leaves are gone by this point.
We'll take a trip down to Lake Pepin.
Nice.
But I have not. I've been down there, but I never went when the leaves are changing because there was a really cool bed and breakfast that we had to cross the river and go into Wisconsin. And it was a neat place because it had the 4 directions, the cabins. There were 4 cabins in there with the north, south, east, west.
Yeah.
It was a pretty funky space, and they're all powered by solar.
Yeah.
And they had this really cool vineyard that was by there. Not that I'm a wine drinker, but it was a brilliant idea because there was this, I can't remember what it's called. But it was, he took the vineyard and then he just poured a big slab and then put a shelter over it. Then in the corner, he put a little oven and stuff, a little kitchen kind of thing. So it was like a restaurant. And people would just drive out like you're going to a kegger, find a place to park, put your car somewhere because there's no lines or nothing. Just park your car, and then they had a big bonfire, and you just sit there. And when they call your name, then you go and you sit at the tables. And it was a very inexpensive restaurant because he had the land. So why not throw up a restaurant?
Interesting. That's cool.
Vino in the Valley, I think it's called.
Oh, okay.
Vino in the Valley. Yeah. So if you ever have to want to go romantic excursion out with wine, Vino in the Valley is pretty cool.
Nice.
I didn't drink back then either, but it was interesting. I admired the idea of creating a restaurant outdoors, and it had like curtains and stuff that they could pull down if it got windy and rainy or whatever. but an inexpensive restaurant because all it was a concrete slab with a shelter roof.
That's cool.
Cheap.
That's cool.
Anyways, going back up, we'll go to prestigious East Bloomington. They say prestigious West Bloomington. You ever go down to Bloomington much?
Yes, I have to go there more often than I would like because I go pick up people from the airport or drop people off at the airport, or I would go down there to go to the Mall of America, which is way overcrowded most of the time, especially this time of year. You will not catch me there this time of year unless somebody drags me.
Still don't want to go. Right?
It's way too crowded. I don't like it this time of year.
Yes, the Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota.
MOA.
Bloomington is kind of the airport's down there, so it's like the strip, the 494 strip. That's where all the hotels and stuff are.
The REI down there is really cool. You ever been to the REI?
You can see the climbing wall from the freeway and stuff.
Huge climbing wall. Yeah, it's a big climbing wall.
Yeah. I got an IKEA down there.
Yeah, it's like 4-story tall climbing wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one's really cool. And I know that at least if I'm remembering quite right, it's either there where they have the bouldering at, or it's nearby where they have the bouldering at. But I know it's right around in that area.
What is bouldering?
Bouldering is like for people who want to do free climbing, but it's kind of like free climbing light. So you're climbing on boulders and stuff like that. So it's
probably there.
Yeah.
Because they got the climbing wall and stuff.
Right.
I was thinking it was going to be something like four-wheeling, where they go climbing over all the boulders and rocks with the Jeeps.
Oh, that'd be really fun. Yeah, there's a guy I used to work with who used to do stuff like that because he was a big car guy and he bought like rare cars. And he's from England, so everything he owned was always like British, and he was like so crazy about his British stuff. And one of the things that he got was this like really cool. It was like, I want to say this thing had like 5 wheels on each side. So it was like a 10-wheeler, 12-wheeler, something like that. And this thing could climb almost a vertical climb.
Are they all independent?
I think like they're in the back. I think that there was the first 2 sets of wheels were tied together so they would rock. They were on rockers, but the rest of them were independent. And in its claim to fame was that there was only like 200 of them ever made. And it could climb almost a complete vertical climb. Like, so he would go out to the middle of nowhere and they would do like those mudding competitions where he would drive it up.
I used to have a 1948 Willys Jeep, CJ5 kind of something like that. It was one of those army ones.
Yeah.
And it didn't have the original motor. It had a Kaiser flathead. And my dad had fixed it up and stuff. And it had like a sheet metal floor. And I was with my nephew, and we were four-wheeling over in Sullivan. We used to call it Sullivan Swamp. I can't talk. Sullivan Swamp, but it was just a small lake. Mm-hmm. And we were there, and we used to go up, and then you put it in like low range, and you can go down and just go, and it's got using the motor as a brake, kind of like.
Yeah.
And we're going down and I hit a little bump and I slipped because there was oil on the sheet metal floor, hit the gas pedal. All of a sudden it lunges forward and we went flying and balancing on like one wheel. Because it had a canvas top.
Wow.
Just a piece of conduit for a roll bar so that we would have got squished. But fortunately we didn't. But that was scary.
Wow, that would have been scary.
Yeah, we did some dumb stuff when we were kids.
Well, yeah. It's kind of a rite of passage. We all do dumb things whenever we're young, and then we survive.
Well, that should be a topic of ours sometime.
Don't.
One of these days we'll do a topic on all the stupid shit you did when you were a kid.
Right.
Because I don't know why I'm alive.
Oh, I think that that's probably common for a lot of people. There are a lot more people that I'm finding now that don't have those experiences, and it's more surprising that
No, they
people
wear
don't have
helmets
those
and stuff, and
experiences.
you get knee pads and pads for when you fall down and scrape your palms.
Right. But then there's like people who just have stupid things happen to them. Like my uncle one time was climbing in the garage because he was trying to get to something that was up high, and he wasn't really paying attention to where he was. And he slipped on the ladder and he fell, and he reached out to grab something, and he reached out and tried to grab the wrong thing. So it was a pitchfork, and it went right through his arm, went all the way through like this, missed everything that was important, went through the wrist and lodged, and he was hanging there and screaming for help and just hanging there, and his wrist was holding him. And if it would have fallen, it would just ripped all that out, and he would have bled to death.
Ouch.
Yeah, but it went through,
Ew.
it hooked through the bone.
Ew.
So yeah. Oh, but talk about near misses, right? I mean, that's a near miss. I know a lot of people who've had near misses like that. I've had a few myself.
Well, let's do a topic on that.
Yeah, we should do that sometime.
Yeah, I've got stories.
So what are other cities that you like to go to?
Well, we did Bloomington, because then you got prestigious West Bloomington, and there's Richfield is in there too. But there's not a lot happening in Richfield. It's kind of a
Richfield. I think there's a. Let me double check. I think there's a brewery around
I'm
there.
sure there is, but there's not a lot.
That's about it.
It's not a real big city.
Yeah, I won't even look.
It's kind of a nice looking, sounding city.
I'm pretty sure Richfield is where there's this brewery at that I go to with the parlor food truck.
You would know. You got a route.
Yeah.
But then on the west side of Bloomington, then there's prestigious Edina, Minnesota. Edina, Minnesota. I always get a kick out of when people aren't from here and they call it Edina. When they pronounce it, it's pronounced Edina.
Yep. Yeah, Edina is an interesting area. That is definitely an interesting area.
Yeah, it's got all the fancy stuff like the Galleria.
It does. Yeah, the Galleria is great. I like going to the Galleria. That's a fun place to go to. Just to go look around. I mean, it doesn't even matter if you're going to buy anything. Just, you go there, go hang out. And they have a furniture place in there, if it's still there.
Gabbert's?
I mean, yep, that's it. Yep. I was told whenever I was selling furniture, I was told to go check that place out because that they were one of the competition. And so I was told, hey, go check that place out. You want to go look and kind of scout it. And whenever I did, I was like, wow, this place is nice. They have some good stuff there. And then there is a place that sells art prints. It's like right near one of the entrances. At least it was in the Galleria. Yep. And they sell original art, but it's primarily prints that they have there. And they have sketches and prints and things like that.
I know what you're talking about.
That's pretty cool. I like going in there and checking out the art. I don't really see anything I want most of the time, but
no. But it is a nice shopping indoor mall.
It is. It's a really cool one. They have unique things there. Oh, and they have that kind of, it's like a catch-all store. It's it feels almost like country living whenever you go in there. And they have really cool like dresses and clothing and things like that you don't normally see other places, but they have like all kinds of other like little cool things there too. It like feels like it's like a country living store except higher end.
A high-end country.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. They have like
Rodeo Drive.
You'd have to check it out to see what I mean. It's
Rodeo Drive.
Yeah, if you want a place to just go hang out for the day and you want a window shop and just like hang out and have some fun, that would be a place I'd recommend.
Good
that place is
restaurants
cool
too. There's
some good ones there.
Good Earth in there. And farther down there's Cucumbers. You ever been to Cucumbers?
Nope.
Cucumbers is good.
Cucumbers.
It's one of those things, a buffet type thing. You walk through and grab all the stuff you want.
Yeah.
Cucumbers is good.
Interesting.
What else they got? They used to have a Fuddruckers. I don't know if they got a Fuddruckers there anymore.
I don't know. I haven't seen any Fuddruckers in a long time.
Then we'll go.
You know the concept of Fuddruckers, right?
No.
Because it's kind of changed a little bit over time.
Is there a concept? I didn't know.
Yeah. So the concept of the place is that it's supposed to be bad service.
It is?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's an anagram for rude fuckers. Fuddruckers, rude fuckers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's one of those restaurants you're supposed to go to get ridiculously comical bad service. It's supposed to be a fun experience.
I never knew that, and I never experienced that, and that's probably why they went out of business. They lost their focus. They
lost their focus. The whole focus was supposed to be ridiculously over the top bad service that was comical. Like it wasn't. There's bad service and there's bad service, right? I mean, you don't want the bad service. You want the bad service that's fun, that makes you laugh.
The intentional bad service.
Right.
There's a place on, I think it's on Eat Street, which is Nicollet, called Bad Waitress.
It's like that.
And it's not, it isn't really a bad waitress there. They don't have any waitress.
Oh.
So it isn't really bad service.
Oh, okay.
It's just, you take your slip and you fill out your slip and then you bring it up yourself. And I think then they deliver it. The waitress delivers it.
Yeah.
But they don't take your order or anything. You fill it out yourself. So there's no real waitress. There's more of a delivery person. Then there used to be a place that was interesting. I can't even remember the name of it, but if anybody's listening and remembers this, you would go in and they would say, they'd get your name. Then they would change your name. They'd say, okay, you're Casey Peak. You're now the Flintstone Party, and you're Fred, and that's Barney. That's Barney Rubble, and that's Fred. And then they would bring someone else that you didn't even know, and they would sit them with you and introduce you as your not real name to them. It was pretty weird.
That's pretty weird. That'd be a cool place to go meet people, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that, going there just to meet people.
I thought it was kind of like North Loop area or kind of by the post office or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember, though. Unless I just made it up in my head. But I like stuff like that.
You skipped Eden Prairie.
I did. Eden Prairie.
Eden Prairie, if we're talking about South, yeah, I mean, you gotta mention.
There's a lot of big companies in Eden Prairie.
There is. There's also one of the very first malls that ever existed.
There's a little airport.
Yeah.
Which mall?
It's the Eden Prairie Mall. It's like the very first mall that ever existed in the world.
Well, going back to Edina is Southdale.
Is it Southdale? Maybe I got that wrong.
Southdale's the first.
It started with an E, so I just had to remember which one. Hold on, let's find out. Let's check. We're gonna Google it.
Do some research. Southdale.
What is the first mall ever?
Dun, dun, dun.
What is the first indoor mall in the United States? It is Southdale. Okay, so that is Edina. Yes, it's Southdale Mall. So I had heard, because it was Southdale Mall, I had heard that Kevin Smith recorded Mallrats there specifically because it was the first mall ever.
That's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know who Kevin Smith is or what Mallrats is.
Sorry, guys.
I'm sorry. How come I don't know that? Is it because I don't have kids?
No, Kevin Smith is he made a bunch of famous funny movies, like a bunch of them.
I missed them.
Yeah. There's Clerks and Mallrats and Something About Mary and yeah, there's a bunch of other ones. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and Jay and Silent Bob.
Never heard of them. I remember Airplane.
Dogma. Dogma is a great movie. You should absolutely see Dogma.
Titanic.
Now that you can finally find it again, you should definitely see Dogma.
Okay. Oh, that's another topic. Movies. We went and saw. I went and saw Red One, which is about Santa Claus. with The Rock in it.
Oh,
The Rock was Santa's bodyguard, it's like a futuristic Santa Claus. It's kind of cool.
weird.
And then we went and saw Wicked, which was pretty good.
My wife saw Wicked this weekend on Saturday. She went and watched it. I think she went to go watch it at IMAX.
Wow. Fancy.
She was like, it's only a couple dollars more to go see it in IMAX or 3D. Which one should I go watch? And I said, well, IMAX has amazingly good sound, but I think you would be happy either way.
Never know.
So I'm not sure which one she went to, but I think it was the IMAX theater.
You go to movies a lot?
No. I have
never.
a really hard time justifying the cost to myself to go see
Don't
movies.
buy popcorn.
Even then, it's like, to go see a new movie at a good theater where they have good sound and everything else, and it's not a junky theater, is like, what, $20 now?
Almost, baby. I used to go to Hopkins when I lived in Minnetonka. Go to Hopkins, it was like $2.
Yeah.
Used to do that to Hopkins.
So whenever I was a kid, there was this theater. It was, I think it was called the Norwalk Discount Theater, and it was like $1.50.
Yeah.
And I used to go watch double features there for $1.50, and I'd get in, and then me and my friend, we would go to the dollar store. And we were kids, of course, so we used to do funny things. And we would wear our baggy pants because, this is in the 90s. People wear baggy pants. And we would, and I would tuck my pant legs in, my shoes. And then I would fill up my pants with candy. And then we would go in and sodas and everything else. And then we would go in there, so we didn't have to buy anything in there because it was ridiculously overpriced. And where we started at is we started at the dollar store. So we went to the dollar store and we bought all the candy at the dollar store. So for $6-7 for the day, we would load up on sugar and pop. And, of course, we didn't call it pop. We called it Coke. Because on the West Coast, everything's a Coke. If you go into a restaurant and you say, I'd like a Coke, please, they go, which kind? We have Pepsi products. We have Coke products.
Don't they use soda?
Soda. If you say soda, everybody knows what you mean.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's Coke. Everybody goes, can I have a Coke? And they say, which one?
And then there's soda pop.
Yep. Yep. So that was cool. We used to do that, and then we used to watch all kinds of movies there. It was a pretty cool theater to go to, and there was a bunch of theaters like around here that I like to go to. There's the we mentioned one last time. We were talking about the
Heights.
We were talking about over here off of 55 in Winnetka.
Yeah.
They have that comedy place, and attached to the comedy place, they also own that theater there.
Yeah,
which
forgot what it's called.
I don't think is going to be Cinema Grill.
Yes,
it's the Cinema Grill. I don't know how much longer it's going to be there.
Oh, they're having a hard time.
I think so.
Oh well.
Yeah, but that's not expensive. I mean. If they were to up the quality of their food a little bit, I think that they would do a lot better. But they have these awesome theaters now. I don't know of any in Minnesota, but they have these awesome theaters in California where if you're spending $20 a ticket, like, $18 to $20 a ticket, like you're going in and you're sitting in these really amazing recliner seats that are super comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And they have tables that fold out and they come bring you like full meals for your dinner and stuff and things like that. And I don't know of any that do that out here. So for $18 to go sit in normal
Draft House,
seats.
Cinema Grill was like that for a while.
Kind of, not really, because they don't have comfortable seats. They have
also did
tables
it at the I can't remember what it's called. It's down in Uptown on Hennepin. I can't remember what it was called, what theater it was. But they were doing dinners there.
Oh, okay.
Tables and stuff. But there should be more of an experience.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to cities.
Cities.
Okay, now we're getting down to Excelsior, not Wayzata. That's going the other way.
Eden
Over by the
Prairie. We
lake.
mentioned Eden Prairie, but we didn't say anything that
Well,
goes on there.
There's not a lot of
We skipped it. We went back to Edina because I had the mall wrong.
There is Eden Prairie Center, the mall, but there's a lot of corporate and there's not a lot of things there. They got a nice community center, I understand.
Okay.
But I don't know of there's no Valley Fair or anything there. That's something that's out that way. Valley Fair and the Chanhassen Dinner Theater and the Arboretum.
That's true.
The Arboretum in is that Chaska? The Arboretum?
I'm not sure.
Or is that Chanhassen?
That Arboretum's cool though. I like the Arboretum.
Paisley Park is Chanhassen.
Mm-hmm.
And the Arboretum's club must be Chanhassen. Yeah, the Arboretum, if you like.
I'm thinking
trees.
it is. I'm thinking it is.
Valley Fair is Shakopee. Canterbury Park.
Canterbury Park is cool.
Horse races. We used to go down there and watch boxing and horse races. They would do a race, then a fight, then a race, then a fight, then a race, then a fight.
That sounds even more fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Back on the day, but it's a long drive from Fridley.
It is.
And then you get over by the lake.
But if you're going to do a race and a fight and a race and a fight and a race and a fight, then it makes it worthwhile because that's a whole day affair.
There you go. You get two experiences for one.
Yeah.
Like driving down there twice with only half the time.
Yeah. I went down there to go watch. Well, I've been down there a few times because one of the companies that I used to work for, Transition Networks, the owner of Transition Networks was also, Transition Networks they sold, so they don't exist anymore. But the guy who owned it at the time also owned Canterbury. So
high roller.
He used to give us all tickets to go there and hold big events there every year for the company.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would go down there for like the holiday party. And so I got to go down there for the holiday party once. And then I went down there for Native American relay races. So that was cool. That was a lot of fun because it was traditional bareback riding for a lot of it. Then they had another time that I went there in the winter time. My wife actually did photography for one of the ladies who was competing in it. They did skijoring, and that's really cool. So it's where the horse pulls a dude on skis. So they have the horse rider, right? And they run in the snow, and then there's a guy on the skis who holds onto a rope, and he gets pulled along on the rope, and then they hot dog. So they jump off of these jumps and stuff like that and do tricks in the air. And
kind of like wakeboarding.
Land it. Kind of. Yeah, it's really cool though. I like the whole idea of skijoring. I actually want to do some the rig for it is a little expensive, but I want to do joring with my dog. So it's bike joring. There's like a little thing that hooks up to your seat and it hooks over, and then it has a spot where it connects to your dog, and then the way that it pulls on the frame, whenever your dog's running, your dog can pull forward, but it's really hard for your dog to like get in the way of your tire or to pull you over. So yeah, I want to do that. That sounds like a lot of fun. I have a big dog, and she actually does like pulling things. So every once in a while I put her in her, I get her in this big outfit, and then like it's a harness, and then I clip the harness to her underside, and it runs through. And then the kids will hold on to that, and then I put the leash on her too, because that's the only thing she responds to. She doesn't. If she only feels that harness, she feels like she wants to pull, right? So I put that on her, and then I get her to run, and the kids will be on a skateboard or rollerblades or something else, and the dog's going, and like you just pulling them along super fast.
Careful.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
This guy knows too much.
About joring?
All sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah, I suppose. It's all sorts of weird
Okay,
stuff.
let's go to the lake. Excelsior Port of Excelsior. That's where some of the different cruise boats are, Lake Minnetonka. Paradise Charters, that's who I used to work with. And the Queen of Excelsior, I think, is down there. Lady of the Lake.
Oh,
Heard of that one? I think that one's there. Have you ever go there?
Mm-mm.
Excelsior?
I don't think so.
It's kind of a small Stillwater.
Okay. I'll have to check it out sometime.
If you like tacos, Lago Tacos is down there. That's really good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I do like tacos. I mean, I guess it's a bit of a stereotype considering I come from Southern California, which is basically Mexico annexed.
It's not a stereotype.
Tacos?
No. What's that got to do with California?
We invented Taco Bell. And we're Mexico annexed who invented the taco.
Taco Bell. Oh, that's a little sidebar. I went with my friend Mary Harris. She's a jazz musician, singer, songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a craving for she wanted meat, but she ordered a chalupa, which didn't have meat on it. And this is the first time this ever happened to me.
Meat on it?
It was a robot that took the order.
Really?
Yes. Oh,
That's
it's
cool.
frustrating.
When was that?
A week and a half ago, 2 weeks.
Nice.
No, I hated it because
The robot didn't get it right?
no. And then you got to figure out how to do it. Is this order correct? They say no. Then they start over, but
Oh,
it's just irritating.
that would be irritating.
You get in that damn loop and stuff. And
If it's not 100% accurate, like, well, it's got to be at least 95% accurate. If it's like, if it makes too many mistakes or you have to like start all over, then it's kind of shitty. Like
It is.
That's not
I just
fun.
didn't like it. And it should have been flipped around the other way. A human should have took the order and the robot should have delivered it. It would have been a lot faster.
But they have to train the robot to be able to understand. So that way, whenever AI takes over, it can just do the whole job. They can get rid of all the people.
Train the robot to give the order to the car?
Yeah, all of that. Take the order, give the order.
Well, eventually they are going to do all that.
Oh yeah, robots are going to do all of the menial tasks.
Pretty much.
Pretty much all of them, including driving. You're going to have dedicated robot chauffeurs until, they get rid of the robot completely and the car is the robot.
The car kind of is the robot.
Well, that's the way that Google wants to do it, but they're having so many problems due to all kinds of things that it's not working. However, Elon Musk's new thing that's coming out that he's going to be releasing next year, it's the cyber van or whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah.
It has no, like, it doesn't even look like it has a spot even for a driver. And it's basically just a bus that fits like 20 people in it. That's the size of a van. And he has a robot that drives it.
I need an independent vehicle. I don't want to ride with anybody else.
I'm sure that's on the way.
Yeah, just my own little thing.
Your own little thing. Yeah.
Yep. And maybe it'll fly or something. I don't know.
That's coming too. Yeah, they've been working on that for about 5-6 years now. They have it's basically a self-driving AI system that's based on the Google self-driving, but it's more advanced and it's basically an oversized drone, and you just get in it and it takes you where you're going. It drops you off.
They have to figure out a different way for that too, because it's kind of dangerous having those propellers and stuff. You can reach them or something.
We can't.
And they're loud.
You get in and you're in a cab.
They're loud.
But you get in the cab and then
and you don't hear them unless you're outside.
Not in a cab. You don't hear them if you're outside.
Sound like mosquitoes. They do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Stuff's happening too fast for me. I'm not being able to keep up with it. It was just kind of a shock. We pull up to the drive-thru and all of a sudden, hello, could I take your order, please? It's like, oh, what the hell? That wasn't a human. It was a robot. I didn't like it,
Right.
but I get used to it, right? I didn't like facial recognition either. Anyways, where are we on the map?
You were at Excelsior. That's where we were.
Now we'll jump over to Wayzata.
Wayzata.
You been to Wayzata?
Yeah, I have.
They got some nice restaurants there. The Cove.
Yup.
There's a little hotel that they actually managed to get a hotel put up there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wayzata means North Shore.
Does it?
I think.
Okay.
I think something like that. Don't quote me on that. I think that's what it is.
It's a cool place. I like the Cove. The Cove is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's very fancy.
That's a pretty cool place. And of course, it's Minnetonka and all that around there.
Minnetonka's a big city. That's where I lived
it's huge
for a while. Ridgedale and Minnetonka. There's the Marsh.
And there's a tiny, 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 tiny little subset in there that's called Deep Haven.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend who lives in Deep Haven.
There's a couple little ones like that that are in that area over there. Like Minnetrista.
Yep.
Greenwood.
Mm-hmm. They have some great stuff to do in the Minnetonka area, the general area of the Minnetonka area. And same thing with Wayzata. They have some great things to do.
There's
just in the
Fletcher's
general area.
Lord Fletcher's.
Mm-hmm.
Volleyball and those big giant boats.
Yep. Back Channel, which is a giant. It's a brewery, but it's also a really cool place where they have game night. So like if you want to go watch, like a Sunday game night, it's actually a really cool place to go. So what happens is that they have a giant, huge screen outside, and they have all the screens on the inside, and then they pump the sound throughout the whole place, and they have announcers that are for the brewery. They go and they sit and they announce the whole game. So they have their own commentators and announcers for the brewery.
That's kind of cool. It kind of brings it back to home.
Yes. And so it's its own thing. It's pretty cool. It's really
What do they
fun.
do? They just turn the volume down and then their announcers are taking over?
Basically, so you can hear the cheering going on the game, and you can hear various different things going on the screen, right? But you're not hearing any announcers or anything like that.
If
they're
on
calling
a different track
all.
or something.
Probably, I would guess probably the audio tracks are probably delayed and filtered, and then they just drown out all the chat out of it. But yeah, so they do all the announcing. It's pretty fun. Like the announcers sound good too. They sound like radio announcers or like TV announcers. Like it's actually, it's an experience. And I went to a game there. God, it was I was there this Sunday. There was a game there this Sunday, which this Sunday's game was a really fun game, by the way. It was a great ending with an interception. Yeah, very good game. And if you haven't seen it yet, by the way, spoiler. I just told you the spoiler. If you had it pre-recorded, sorry, I might have ruined it for you. So if you already watched it, good for you.
Good enough.
But anyhow, so yeah, I mean that's kind of it's pretty cool. But they had a game there that I went there because they have it outdoors, right? And they have like a little paddleboard person who's there. They have they have a bunch of food trucks that show up and everything else. But out on the outside, they have like tons of tables. They had probably, I want to say, 250 people there.
Wow.
All sitting outside, cheering on the. It felt like you were sitting in a stadium, like all of them wearing Vikings outfits and stuff like that.
What's it called?
Back Channel Brewing.
Makes sense. So it's by the lake.
Yeah.
Back Channel.
Yep.
Get that. Back Channel Brewing, Lake Minnetonka.
It's an amazing brewery too. They make really good beer. They have some non-alcoholic options. They totally don't mind kids. They have a little small little putting green in the front on their deck. So you can like go out there and, have the kids just like, put a ball or something like that to keep them entertained. I think they have a few other rentals around there that rent various different things. So you can do fun stuff around there. But that event, the Vikings game event, there's not another place I've been in the Twin Cities that does it like this.
There you go, 5 stars.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And the Parlor Food Truck and Back Channel, they're pretty close. They have a good working relationship. So,
yeah. Okay. Now we'll jump into like West End. We've got St. Louis Park, Golden Valley, and there's Punch Bowl Social. It's over in West End, St. Louis Park.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a nice movie theater over there.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one is it? An AMC?
I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know if it's an AMC or if it's a. And then the Twin Cities Film Festival is over there.
Yeah.
And there's Crave, which is a nice restaurant.
Yup. My wife got to photograph the last Twin Cities Film Festival.
Did she enjoy it?
Yeah. Yeah, she thought it was a lot of fun. There was what's her name that played in the last Star Wars film? I can't remember what her name is. She's big right now because of it. And my wife got to do some photography of her and her husband as they were doing the red carpet walk. So that was cool.
Yeah, my wife Monica joined them as a member, so we went to a lot of the different free films.
Nice.
Last year. It's a neat experience. It's a totally different vibe of people.
It's a very different vibe of people. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all pretending, all actors.
I get that feeling sometimes. That was what
I saw
was
Misha
cool.
there. Misha was there.
Yeah. Misha's there a lot. Also, their official photographer is a friend of Elizabeth and mine. She's cool people, so we get to see her every once in a while there. Then there is Joe Cococello. Of course, he's there. He was put up for an award 2 years ago there for a few of his films.
I don't know that name either.
Yeah, he did some
Joe Cococello.
He's a local comedian.
Oh.
He's a local comedian.
I'd like to get back into the comedy thing. I used to enjoy it, but I'm a morning person. I don't like the night stuff. Wish they'd do them earlier.
I think my wife agrees with you. My wife makes jokes every single morning. How come you get to sleep in and I'm the one who has to get up in the morning every single day? Next time, she makes jokes about this all the time. Next time I'm going to have a morning husband. If you can't be a morning husband, then I'm going to get myself a morning husband.
I don't like to sleep in. I was up at 1 this morning. I don't like to sleep in. I just don't like nightlife. It's not my thing. So I can handle it, but it's not a big thing for me. Okay, now we'll jump up to Top Golf over in Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park.
That is...
I think it's Brooklyn Park.
Brooklyn Center.
It's north
That's
of
Brooklyn Center. For sure. I used to live right across the street from it.
It's Brooklyn Center?
Yep. Absolutely, for sure. Yep, Brooklyn Center.
Okay, Top Golf.
Yep.
That's where we met.
Yep, that's where we met originally. Yep.
I'm amazed how busy that place is and how expensive it is.
It's so expensive.
It's expensive and people...
It is ridiculously expensive.
It's always full.
Always.
Golf is an interesting sport, if you want to call it a sport. It doesn't seem like a sport.
Yeah, it's a sport as much as like billiards is a sport.
I mean, it's weird that golf is so weird because it's a teeny tiny little ball, a teeny tiny little club, and a lot of real estate. For what? Because a little hole.
I know, that's all you do. That's all you do with that entire real estate. And they it's not like there's a bunch of animals hanging out on it or something else that get to enjoy
it's
it.
just
No.
a big open space. Of
Big
grass.
open space that
You
they
just gotta mow it.
don't actually like the
mow
animals
it,
to
mow
come
it.
hurt.
You gotta mow it really
bother them.
fine on the green, and they move the hole once in a while, which is weird too, just to throw people off.
Just to throw people off. Yeah.
Golf is a global thing. There are golf courses all over the place. It's weird.
It's a Scottish game.
Scottish. Is that where it started?
Mm-hmm. Scottish lords used to play it.
Started golf.
Yeah. It was a Scottish game. I think if I remember my history right, it started in like the 1400s.
So they probably started with just a ball and a rock and a hole and a stick. And thought, let's make this a little more challenging. We'll make the hole farther.
Well, you know, they used to carry around cudgels, right? The Irish and the Scottish used to carry around cudgels. That was a very normal thing that they used to do.
They're on what?
Cudgels.
What the hell is he talking about?
They used to carry around.
What's a cudgel?
Club.
Clubs?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
why would they do that?
Well, at a certain point, the Brits invaded, and then they murdered and pillaged and raped and did all of their wonderful expansionistic stuff there. And then they made it illegal for them to defend themselves. So they would carry around canes because they couldn't make that illegal. But they weren't really canes. They were giant, huge things that will brain you. Yeah, it was a cudgel. And so they would utilize that. So the Scottish lords, I can't remember which one it was, but there was a Scottish lord who came up with the game, and he basically, they had, he had the green around his house, and they would hit the ball around, and they would be like, oh, who can hit the ball in the hole? Let's do it. Hit the ball in the hole. Just like all games.
I never knew that golf, they were actually walking around with a bag full of weapons.
That was basically it. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, at least that's the way it was back in the day. I mean, they can still be used as a weapon now, but nobody.
Isn't that what nunchucks were, weren't they, for thrashing hay?
They were
or rice.
So basically, almost all of the peasant weapons, as they were called there, they were the ninjutsu weapons.
Or tools of something.
Right, were some kind of tool. So you had your hand scythe, you had you had your nunchucks, you had your 3-section staff, which was for threshing rice. You had all those kinds of weapons. Mm-hmm. All those things were all designed. They were designed to be everyday objects that they would use in the fields that they can double as a weapon if they needed to.
Good idea. If someone's coming over to rape and pillage you.
Oh, they didn't rape and pillage in Japan. They just killed everything.
Well, wherever they do that stuff.
Japan was...
Someone attacks you.
Feudal Japan was one of the most hostile, horrid places anyone could have ever lived in existence. And it developed some of the most dangerous, vile, awful warriors ever. And they just wanton slaughtered anyone who stood against them.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
That's a new topic.
That's a different topic. We could totally talk about history.
Well, we did an hour again. Hope you enjoyed it. We're going to chop this into little shorts, and I want to see what happens if the automatic AI stuff will pick out these cities. And
we didn't get to local stuff. Let's do one more.
local stuff. What?
Let's do Northwest Twin Cities.
Northwest?
Let's talk about Northwest Twin Cities a little bit.
Where is that?
Just before we quit. So like we're in Crystal and Robbinsdale and New Hope right now.
Yeah, let's talk about where we are here.
Yeah, so let's talk about where we're. So I mentioned one thing, which was the the Plymouth. So here in this region, we have off of 55 in Winnetka, they have the Cinema Grill, right?
Yeah.
And then I can't remember what the name of the place is that it's attached to. It's not the Laugh Factory for some reason. I wanted to say that, but it's not. It's Outtakes Bar and Grill. That's what it's called. Outtakes. Yep. And you mentioned that there's an event going on there in the near future.
No, that's a different place.
Different place. Okay.
Yes, and I can't remember the name of that place. It's but it's Comedy Sports, and I think they actually it already took place.
Oh, okay.
They're doing a Comedy Sports thing this Saturday at Strike Theater in Northeast Minneapolis.
Sure. So and then we go to Plymouth. Plymouth, if you've got a lot of kids, you can go to the Play Place in Plymouth, right off of 55 there. So if you go down Winnetka, so you're going like towards 55, and then you go past it, and to your right-hand side, there's a big park there. And if you go into that park, there's a place. I think it's just called the Play Place, or it's an indoor playground, basically.
Play Place in Plymouth.
Yeah, and it's an indoor. It is an indoor play place that for kids where they can climb around and everything else. Well, the cool thing is on the outside of there, they have a bunch of cool areas for adults to hang out. So, and it's at the same center. They have a little place that you can eat out inside. It's okay food, but the gaming area is really cool. They have curling, they have bocce ball, they have golf nearby. They have all kinds of stuff like that you can do all in this little area. So it's pretty cool. And then if you go across the 55 to the other side, there's a place that I do landscaping for. So we do their gardening and all that stuff with Garden Gurus, and they're called All Strings Attached. And next to All Strings Attached, is a lighting place, and then right next to that, so that lighting place is kind of cool if you ever want to check it out, and they only do lights. But then right next to that, there's a bar there that has usually 70, 80 different choices in beer, all on tap. It's amazing. But that is not what's cool about the place. I'm going to have to look up what the name of it is off the top of my head right now. I'm not getting it. But they have the most unusual brats and hot dogs there that you could get. They have it like alligator, venison, snake, wild boar. It's cool. This place is cool. Let me figure out what the name is real quick. I can get that for you.
We got somebody from LinkedIn, Marjorie. St. Anthony is the best. Stephen Law says Mead, ? Stillwater is nearly always wonderful.
Sorry I didn't see you guys here.
Yeah, what is the name of this place? It is New Bohemia. That is it. It is New Bohemia. That place is awesome. Mead, yes, MEAD. Yes, indeed. Oh, we didn't notice that, and that was early on.
Yeah, I didn't
That's
notice
too bad. St. Anthony, yeah, that is true. There is some stuff to do in St. Anthony. Yeah, I don't go there very often, though.
It's a quaint little area, St. Anthony.
Yeah.
I just recently did something there. I can't remember. It's not something I did. It's something I'm going to do. I've got a meeting over there.
Oh, okay.
With an SEO company.
Then there is Maple Grove. We didn't talk about Maple Grove
Maple
that much
Grove's
at
got a
all.
lot going on.
They have tons going on.
There's a lot of restaurants, and you can spend a lot of time there.
We mentioned one place that's there,
What was that?
Clapping Monkey.
No, that's Ridley.
Oh, you're right. That's Fridley. Yep. Okay, so Maple Grove. Let's see. They have a good movie theater there. They have a bunch of stuff there. They have a
Got a
bunch
lot
of
of
restaurants there. Bunch of restaurants there. They have an outdoor mall. They have a lot of shopping experiences to be had there. But I don't know. The Maple Grove Central Park is an awesome park for kids. Tons of stuff to climb on. They have like kids can do like basically like mini bouldering there because they have like a big old climbing area there. They have a really cool swing. They have a really cool central structure, and it's built on the side of this hill. So they have big slides to go down. Yeah, so it's pretty fun. Like you could definitely go to that place. That place is cool.
Okay, we've gone long enough.
Yeah,
I'm going to take a nap.
there's more places that I could recommend too.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of them we just forgot about.
In the Three Rivers Parks District, there's a bunch of places to go if you want to go to the parks there. There's a place that I know of towards that area, towards the Maple Grove area.
We mentioned that before, that Bunker Hills.
Tubing. They have tubing there. Yeah, it's awesum.
The wave pool and
They have snowboarding. They
many
have
places you
tubing.
can go.
They have outdoor archery. Yeah, it's awesome. Anyways,
Okay, that's it. We're gonna
see you next
sign off.
time. Thank you guys for the comments. I'm sorry we didn't see them until now. I will try to be more careful about that next time.
Okay.